Welcome back to Well, That's Interesting. The good news, Marissa is still alive and well in the woods edition.
I am. I am alive
You're
and
alive
well in the woods. Full disclosure, I'm not here for no reason. I am visiting my family home. I'm in my teenage bedroom, all of which just happens to be located in the woods in Texas.
You're living like multiple nightmares for people. You're in the woods. You're in the home you grew up in. You're in your teenage bedroom. Many nightmares wrapped up into one. But
many nightmares.
You're doing good.
I'm handling it well. I actually wasn't thinking about any of those nightmares, but
sorry.
Now.
Sorry about that. Sorry. Oh no.
My main focus was
on
how good the Mexican food is, but now
yes,
I am thinking about teenage trauma and what comes from the woods.
Horrible things.
Boogeymans.
Aliens.
I like how I watch so many horror movies, and when it comes time to name one monster, I come up with the boogeyman.
You can't come up with one cryptid. Oh no. Well, good. Well, that's good though. So don't think about it. Try to think about how we have reached episode 030.
Fuck yeah.
Everyone. That's fucking right. We are at the big 30, and it's thanks to everyone who's been listening, subscribing, rating, telling their friends, and even the amazing, beautiful, sexy stallions who support this podcast financially.
Hell yes, you guys. Right. You guys are the reason we keep doing this. Or else we would just keep talking over drinks every night. It's so cool. Jill's laughing, but it is so cool to share this information and communicate with you guys. And we love hearing from you and, support. If you can dish it out, that's great. But also we love some support in the form of ratings too. So
yeah, because it really does help listeners in your area find this podcast, because that's how Apple has its rating system. That like if you're in Argentina, for example, and you have an Apple ID registered in Argentina, your rating will only be seen by people in your country. So help out people who want to find new podcasts, and also let them know that you're listening, because fuck man, this is your time, and let's all lift each other up.
Yeah.
So I think so.
Yeah, for sure. Or you might even be in a country where no one has rated Well, That's Interesting, and you can be like the Well, That's Interesting
pioneer. Right, you were there.
And then like 5 years down the road, you can be like, I listened to them way before everyone else did. I heard of that band before they even formed,
That's right. You were there.
So
that's right. Oh man. Yeah. And so thank you. Big wet thank you to everyone who's made us help us get to the big 30. And I guess we should start, right? I mean, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Episode 030. Why, yes, you can die slipping on a banana peel.
Oh God. Of course you can. Of course you can. This is like a death from The Good Place.
Oh, big time.
It's like, it's so much history here. Please tell me everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Jill. Tell me everything.
Did we introduce ourselves? I don't think so.
Oh, maybe
I'm
not.
Jill Chacha.
I'm here with, this is Jill Chacha. I'm Marissa Riley, reporting to you from the woods. And let's talk about some fucking banana peels.
So let's first get the math part out of the way, and then we can get into stories about people hurting themselves. How does that sound?
Okay,
fucking
sounds
fantastic.
Great.
Okay, so if you're wondering if there's a scale for slipperiness and a way to measure how slippery a slippery situation is, you're damn right. There is a way. There is a scale, and it's kind of simple. All right, now this is our imagination portion of the show, so please visualize the following quote.
Okay.
Slipperiness is measured by placing a block of a given material on a ramp of another material, and then slowly increasing the angle of the ramp. The tangent of the angle of the ramp when the object starts to slide gives you the coefficient of friction, or COF, end quote. And that is from one of our sources today, the glorious book, And Then You're Dead by Cody Cassidy.
That was a gorgeous quote. I saw every single thing right in front of me.
Yeah.
I was about to say it was like a beautiful mind, but no one has seen that movie. That movie has been forgotten. Yeah. I don't even think it was good. It was one of those movies that won an Oscar, but then we realized it wasn't great.
Yeah, a lot of movies just ends up just a shrug.
Yeah. Anyways, back to
COF. Now, the COF lands on a scale from 0 to 1, and 0 is extremely slippery, and 1 is barely moving. And to help visualize what a 1 is, imagine yourself standing on a 45-degree angle, and you don't budge. So, yeah.
Okay.
So that's a full-on 1. And yes, there totally can be situations where you can exceed a 1, but those are like outliers. And for example, rubber tires on a professional drag racing car are like a 4. And the friction the rubber creates when spinning could actually keep a car at a 75-degree angle, which is fucking bonkers. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Most things, though, they fall between 0 and 1, and lots of common situations hover around 0, extremely slippery. As my tailbone knows very well, wearing socks on a wooden floor can lead to a wipeout.
Oh, yes, they can.
Right. The COF for socks across a wooden floor is a wee 0.23. Yeah, and if you've ever tried to walk across ice while wearing sneakers, it doesn't end well, and it ends quickly. Sneakers and ice register at a 0.15.
Wow, I love that there are specific numbers for such specific things.
Yeah.
Like, I like that they went in depth and found these numbers specifically for sneakers on ice and socks on a wood floor.
Yeah, because that's just,
I love it.
That's just, it just happens every day. I've had both situations multiple times in my life. So
same as a New Yorker.
Jesus.
Yeah, you can encounter both of those like 10
in the same day
each.
Yeah. So now sneakers on ice registering at 0.15. That's pretty close to 0, but we can get a lot closer, god damn it. And to do this, we're going to head over to Japan, and we're going to slip back to 2014. That's Ooh. Right. We're at the University of Minato, and here Dr. Kiyoshi Mabuchi and his team sacrificed themselves for a study called frictional coefficient under banana skin.
That's such a lovely way of putting it. Like, I don't know, it sounds almost like a poem or something.
The study is poetic. Dr. Kiyoshi is a poet. So,
an artist.
Yes. For context, if anyone's not familiar, like Marissa said, slipping on a banana peel is like a comedy slapstick gag, and it goes as far back as the 1860s. If you've ever watched a cartoon like Looney Tunes, chances are you've seen somebody wipe out on a banana peel. So it has a long history in physical comedy, but no one ever tested the gag until Dr. Kiyoshi accepted the challenge.
Amazing.
That's right. This bold study began with 12 Cavendish bananas, and those are your average store-bought bananas. So just imagine a dozen bananas. They were peeled, and each peel was placed on a linoleum plate, and that was to mimic a kitchen floor, for example. The plate,
interesting.
Yeah, the plate then was set atop a small tool called a force transducer, which was used to measure exactly how much sliding took place. Now, I'd love to show you the amazing setup for this experiment. So the picture will be on our Instagram, Well, That's Interesting Pod. But can you describe in your own words what you see right here?
Okay, so I am actually not 100% sure. Okay, so I see a person's
There
foot.
you go. Start with the foot.
And they've got the ball of their foot pressing on a banana skin, which is on top of a linoleum plate, which is on top of a force transducer. Wait, yes. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that little thing, it's about the size of a hockey disc, I would say, or a hockey puck.
Yes, it's very small. It looks almost like a coffee can or something from my angle. And yeah, what a contraption. It does not look as scientific as I thought it was.
No. It's literally someone stepping on a banana peel. And each peel was stepped on 5 times for a total of 60 measurements. And Dr. Kiyoshi Mabuchi discovered, on average, this shoe meets banana peel on floor situation registers a super slippery 0.07.
Wow, that's very low.
That's very low. It's twice as slippery as ice and 5 times as slippery as a wooden floor. And it turns out, were you going to say something?
Oh, I was going to say, ice and wooden floor are already so lethal.
Yeah.
That when you put the math in there, this banana peel is like, I don't know, death on impact. Like, it's fast acting according to these numbers.
I can see the commercial now. So, we've been eating these things. We should have been just the U.S. Someone call the U.S. military, let them know.
Right?
So it turns out a banana might not be the only troublesome fruit in your home. The team also took a look at apple, orange, and tangerine peels. Apple peels are a 0.13. Oranges and tangerines are both around a 0.2. And that's above our deadly banana friend. But remember, still as slippery as sneakers on ice, that 0.15, and socks across a wooden floor, that 0.23.
Okay, so the next time we've got a home invader coming into our apartment.
Yeah.
We have 5 seconds, so we both just happen to be holding bananas, oranges, or apples.
We'll be okay.
We just sprinkle it everywhere in front of us. Bam.
It's one of your options.
It's one of
the arsenals. You know, you have your classic gun, your classic knife. Don't be afraid to reach for a banana. You know,
don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. So we're left with the question: what makes a banana so fucking bananas? Well, inside the skin of this unassuming fruit are layers and layers of tiny sacs, and each sac holds a little amount of gel, or a polysaccharide follicular gel, if you want to be all fancy. And would you please read what happens within fractions of a second when foot meets peel?
Absolutely. All right, quote, when those tiny sacs in the banana skin get compressed or stepped on, they burst, forming a single super slimy surface, prime for slippage. End quote. And that comes from businessinsider.com. So it's basically like putting Vaseline on the ground.
There you go. Yeah. Another weapon. Look at all.
Another weapon.
This is just so informative, this show. Everything is a weapon.
Everything is a weapon. Everything is a weapon if you squirt it on the floor. I hate myself for saying so.
Well, this is important.
Okay, podcast over. I'm done. I'm out.
You're in the woods. You should know these things. I'm just giving you the information you need to survive for the rest of the week in the woods. So
thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll make sure to go to the grocery store and get a lot of bananas and Vaseline. And
healthy diet.
Then I'll be safe.
Healthy diet, keeping your skin fresh, and you're deadly. It's perfect.
There you go. So fiber.
Now this podcast wouldn't be this podcast if we didn't look into the possibility of death. It turns out in the mid 1800s, when the Panamanian banana was introduced to the United States, imported by a man named Carl B. Frank, quote, the fruit quickly became a popular street fruit. Let me do that again. Quote, the fruit quickly became a popular street food throughout America, but the surge in urban migration and lack of sanitation regulation posed a major problem in cities. People often tossed their garbage into the streets, leading to public waste buildup. A rotting banana peel was a slime-covered booby trap. Around 1880, Harper's Weekly admonished anyone who tossed their banana peels on a public walkway, as this would likely result in broken limbs. In 1909, St. Louis City Council completely outlawed throwing or casting a banana rind on public thoroughfares.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. So we see this in comedy, we see this in movies and cartoons as a joke. We've always, we always make fun of it as a joke. I don't know a single person who's ever slipped on a banana peel, but I love that this was once such a big problem
Yes,
that they had to fucking outlaw
Yes.
throwing your goddamn peel in the street
Yep.
because people were breaking their limbs.
That's right.
Oh my God. That was a very dark joke at one time.
It really, really was. Continuing the quote, throughout the 19th century, cities relied heavily on wild pigs that roamed the streets to dispose of rotting organic matter. This method was not wholly effective, end quote.
Oh my God. That reminds me of the episode of The Simpsons where didn't they have some sort of like infestation?
Yeah.
So they just kept infesting the city with like worse animals.
That's it.
It was something like snakes, then they got mongooses, then they got gorillas or something. I don't remember the order.
That's our country.
That's our country.
That's our country. And this quote
solve a problem with another problem.
That's right. And then you just wait for other generations to deal with it. So
there you go.
That quote is from Mental Floss and their article, How Did Slipping on a Banana Peel Become a Comedy Staple? It's a good read. Go for it. So, yes, people did actually hurt themselves on bananas in the United States. In fact, walking on any surface with a COF of 0.1 or less results in a fall 90% of the time.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Those are numbers that I can fully realize. Like, yeah. Wow.
Seriously. So let's talk the extent of injuries. So when you know you're on a slippery surface, you kind of change your gait, you ready yourself. And when you do fall, like your arm, your hand, or your ass takes the blow. But if you're not expecting something slippery or expecting to fall, this can lead to a head injury. Falling from you see where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Falling from a standing position means your noggin travels 5 or 6 feet down with quite a lot of force behind it. Would you like to read from And Then You're Dead by Cody Cassidy as to why this might be troublesome?
Absolutely. All right, quote. If you cannot protect your head from a fall at 6 feet, your skull would fracture. Fractures are dangerous for a few reasons, but bleeding is the big one. Bleeding inside your skull can be far more dangerous than bleeding anywhere else. ... Because your skull is a solid container carrying fragile cargo. If your head starts filling with blood, your brain gets squeezed. Too much blood within your skull creates pressure that strangles the brain and chokes off and kills critical brain functions like remembering to breathe, end quote. Oh my God.
What a great quote, right?
I am never leaving the house without a helmet again. No more bananas. Stop making smoothies. I don't want to die. I don't want my brain to choke. I'm screaming.
Well,
sorry.
That's okay.
I'm calming down. That was a very intense quote.
It was an intense quote. We got to scream. That means it's a successful episode.
Yes.
But everybody, don't worry too much. According to Rygar Comparisons, I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's REIGARW, Rygar Comparisons. The odds of death via slipping on a banana peel are 1 in 3.5 billion. Very, 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 very slim.
But still,
people did hurt themselves. But this 1 and 3.5 billion, it didn't stop me from looking into if it ever happened before. And yes, my friends, it certainly has.
Oh,
And the
God.
story of the first and only known record of a man dying via fruit peel is right after the break. And it's even crazier than you expect. I promise. It's fucking crazy.
I can't wait.
Stay tuned.
True or false? Hats make you go bald. This is actually false. Maybe still skip the fedora, though. Hair loss is a genetic condition that affects 2 out of 3 men by the age of 35. Those aren't great odds. But the good news is that Keeps can help with expert, personalized care and science-backed treatments that are up to 90% effective at reducing hair loss. All without leaving the house, delivered straight to your door. Hair loss stops with Keeps. For a special offer to get started, go to keeps.com/podcast. That's KEEPS.com/podcast.
Hello, everyone. You may recognize me as Gabby from the History of Everything podcast.
And my name is Brenna, and you don't recognize me from anything yet.
Together, we're 2 scientists who explore all of the weird little questions and conspiracies of the universe in our new podcast, Mystery of Everything. Everything has an explanation.
We hope.
That is what we're here to figure out. We will dive into the science behind many popular conspiracy theories, such as vaccines causing autism, flat Earth theory, and was the moon landing fake? And if so, why the heck would anyone even do that?
But it's not just conspiracies. There's a lot of cool mysteries that we will attempt to use science to explain, such as near-death experiences, what made the Vikings go berserk, and can I control my co-host with MK Ultra?
Wait, what? Anyway, make sure to check out the Mystery of Everything podcast everywhere where you find your podcasts.
Hey everyone, Jill Chacha here from Well, That's Interesting, and I am absolutely thrilled to tell you about Spotify for podcasters. I use it, I love it, and it all started by downloading the free Spotify for Podcasters app, which has all the tools you need in one place to record and edit your masterpiece of a podcast. Spotify for Podcasters also distributes your show to all major platforms, so when you hit publish, your episodes will stream not only on Spotify, but I'm talking about the Apples, the Googles, Stitcher, Good Pods, the other ones. You get the idea. And you can monetize your podcast with no minimum listenership required. You could also set up monthly subscriptions and record ads just like this one. So what are you waiting for? Download Spotify for Podcasters today and start changing the world. Oh, and please, stay interesting. And we're back.
We are so back.
We're so back, and we're here for the injuries. So,
oh, fuck yeah, we are.
So let's begin our story as promised. And our story begins way back in 1911.
Oh, damn. That is a long time ago.
That's right. And we're standing at the edge of Niagara Falls, waiting for Bobby Leach to float by inside his steel tube. You see, Bobby had the dream of being the first man and the second person to survive going over Niagara Falls. And would you like to see Bobby and his death-defying tube?
Absolutely.
Okay, so sending you a photo of Bobby and his...
Oh my God. All right, so just
Yeah.
to clarify, he would get in this and then go through Niagara Falls?
Yeah, that was the tube he floated on and over the,
All right, so I'm looking at Bobby. Bobby looks fucking awesome. He has a bow tie, a little engineer's little page boy hat.
Yep.
He's got one of those arm things that like people at fancy cocktail bars wear. He's got a cane, and then he's sitting on top of this giant tube. It's about 2 or 3 giant trash cans long. It's this long cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's made of some sort of metal.
Mm-hmm.
It's got it looks like it's been somehow like stapled, rivets like nailed together.
Yeah,
and there's
very
hole.
steampunk.
Very steampunk. And there's like a little hole that's big enough for a person to fit inside of.
There you go.
And there's a big dent on the top. So the fact that he got in this,
Yeah,
and went over Niagara Falls, in this.
I know.
Makes me super nervous. And I'm like getting a bruise just thinking about it.
Yeah. And this photo will be on our Instagram. And it's just, this man is the epitome of the early 20th century. It's just that kind of photo.
Yeah.
But before his attempt, many other folks gave it a go as well, despite the direct quote from the only person to attempt and survive the fall at the time. Annie Taylor was an American school teacher, and she was the fucking person who actually was the first person to do it and survived. And she did it in a literal barrel.
Oh my
think of a
God.
wine barrel. Yeah, it wasn't a metal thing. Like this guy's steel fucking tank, basically.
Who started this trend? Why? It's like skydiving. Like I'm just like hurt just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, you guys.
So, and she said of her experience, quote, "If it was with my dying breath, I would caution anyone against attempting the feat.
Good.
I would sooner walk up to the mouth of a cannon, knowing it was going to blow me to pieces, than make another trip over the fall." End quote.
Amazing.
And
I'm glad that she wasn't like, it was the best. It was magical. No, she was like, this sucks. Don't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you can read the entire quote on her wiki page. It just makes people want to do it even more, and it inspired Daredevil Bobby. He got into his steel tube, floated 2.5 miles downriver before reaching the edge of the falls, and went over. And he survived, but not unscathed. He spent 6 months recovering from his injuries, which were 2 broken knees and a broken jaw.
Jesus.
So that was that big old dent you mentioned. That's when he got his 2 broken knees.
That's why he has a cane in this picture, and he's sitting
right.
down.
Fuck yeah.
Oh no.
So after healing as much as one can in 1911, he got a stuntman gig with Barnum and Bailey Circus, and he gained a little fame and enough to retire the stunt work and do a little paid lecturing.
Oh, nice.
That's right. In 1926, he was on a publicity tour in Auckland, and according to the New Zealand Herald, quote, was strolling along the pavement close to his flat in Princes Street when he slipped on an orange peel and broke his leg, end quote.
Oh, God.
And, yeah. Would you like to read further from the 1926 Herald article, Bobby Leach Dead?
Of course I would. All right, quote. There can be little doubt that the leg injuries he received during his memorable drift in the barrel were responsible for the weakening of the limb that was broken. Complications set in, and on Monday, the leg was amputated, but the patient rapidly weakened and died. End quote.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So he could survive falling down Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
But he could not survive a fucking tangerine.
No. Wow. So the Herald then summed up the situation in perfect 1920s speak, quote, "After a life of intrepid exploits and hairbreadth escapes, the actual incident that led to his death seems like one of those ironies of fate that bestow the pages of ancient fiction. For having defied death 100 times, he at last owed his end to a piece of orange peel."
Oh my
End
God.
quote. Yeah. And that is the tale of Bobby and the Peel.
Bobby and the Peel, man.
Bobby and the Peel.
That sounds like a band. Sounds like a country band.
Yeah. And every song, it's all about Bobby's death.
Ugh.
Poor Bobby.
Poor Bobby. Oh my God, that was amazing.
And that is the end of episode 030. Again, thanks to everyone who's helped us make it this far. And it's very far, especially when you start at 001.
Oh man. And now we're the big 30.
I know.
We know ourselves. We are women now. Fuck yeah.
So thanks to everyone, and please stay interesting.
Please do.